Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Salford. My name's Nigel Linge. I studied electronic engineering as a degree here at Salford University, and I then went on to study for a PhD researching computer networks here at Salford University, and this year I'm actually celebrating 30 years on campus, which is a bit frightening, but there you go. I currently hold the post of Professor of Telecommunications, and Haifa said, say a few words about what science and engineering is. So let's try and understand the difference. Science is really about the fundamental principles that govern the world. So what do engineers do? Well, they take those principles, understand them, and turn them into something practical, solving a problem, making something. So science is about understanding the fundamentals, and engineering is about putting that into practice to make something with it. And let's have a look at something familiar. Do you know what this is? A brick. Yeah, you could make a few houses with this. That is actually a mobile phone. Now, do you think that looks large? Yeah. A bit larger than yours. Well, do you want to see what it started out like? That was the first mobile phone. Now, does anybody know when that became available in the UK? Have a guess. 1970 something? I didn't quite catch the last. 1950. 1950, right. Any more advances than that? 1955. 55. Higher or lower than, sorry? 1967. 1985. When I was doing my electronics degree between 1980 and 83, this didn't exist. If I wanted to make a mobile phone call when I was out walking in Manchester, I had to go to a red telephone box to make it. The mobile phone this year is celebrating 25 years. It's its 25th anniversary. But look at what's happened in that 25 years. This graph goes from 1998 to 2008. We don't yet have the figures for 2009, and that is the global population that has a mobile phone. 60% of the world's population. And here's a little fact that you can bore your friends with, and this is true. There are statistically more mobile phones in the United Kingdom than there are people. Now let's just find out why. Who's got 2 mobile phones? Put your hand up if you have 2. Okay, keep them up if you have 3. Keep going. We got 4. You still 4 mobile phones? Yeah? That's why statistically there are more mobile phones than there are people, because some people have more than one. And we're now celebrating 25 years of the mobile phone. So where's the science and engineering in a mobile phone? Well, you've got the materials of semiconductors, the electronics, the fundamental materials that make electronic components. If we hadn't had semiconductors, we wouldn't have mobile phones. The materials that it's made of, the fact that you can have plates that fold, that you can have mobile phones that fold in half, the fact that you can have things like this that fold and make a QWERTY keyboard, that requires materials. They've got cameras in them, so you need optics. They communicate with the rest of the world. They have to understand radio, the principles of radio signals. GPS, they receive signals from satellites and you can work out where you are on the planet. All of these different things are built into your mobile phone, and that's not including all the software that runs on that phone to make all the icons, to make the applications that you use. That, in my view, is not a mobile phone. That did one job. It made a telephone call. No text, no internet. In fact, when that was launched in 1985, the internet existed, but the World Wide Web did not. So that made telephone calls. That was a mobile phone. That is a mobile computer that happens to make phone calls. And that's going to continue to evolve in that way. Oh, how many people in here send text messages? Most, the vast majority. For 2009, in the United Kingdom, there were a total, and this is the Mobile Data Association figures, of 96.8 billion text messages sent in the UK over mobile phone networks, and you contributed to that. Now, 96.8 billion is a big number. It's very hard to visualize, but what that means is 3,000 a second, or 265 million every day. So if you're getting 100 or 200 texts a day, you're not even trying. 3,000 a second is what we're averaging in the UK. The mobile phone, as a piece of science and engineering, has changed the way we communicate. The fact that you can now talk to anyone potentially in the world, anywhere that you happen to be, is a revolution. That was never possible 25 years ago. People would have dreamed of it. It was science fiction. Now it's your life. It's expectation. The way you communicate has also changed in that the use of text messaging has invented a new language, which we call texting. And I bet you're good at texting. So we're going to have a little competition. I'm going to give you the text words, and I want you to translate them into English. Okay? So let's try this one. Shout it out.
No.
Yeah, okay, we're starting easy. Get you the idea of what we're trying to do.
See you later.
See you later. You see, I'm awkward. I would type that in myself. But you would type this in, wouldn't you? Oh, you've stopped. This is, all of these are out of the official text dictionary, so I'm not making them up.
If you know what I mean.
Perfect, if you know what I mean. What does that mean? This is, now we can talk about what's called emoticons, because the mobile phone not only has changed how we can communicate, but the way in which we do it. Now, if I sent you that text message, what do you think, what emotion would I be? Yeah? Gasp, shocked, amazed. It's expressing your feelings about something. Now, if I sent you this text message, who is it that it's a picture. This is a text message picture. Who is it? And I'll give you a clue. It's not a real person, it's a cartoon. Famous cartoon character. Shout it out. Homer Simpson. How? Let's rotate it on its side. The two tufts of his hair, his mouth here, his nose, those are his eyes. There's a whole collection of these on the web. So if you've not come across these before, go and have a look at those on the web. So what have scientists and engineers ever done for us? Well, do you mean apart from buildings and cars and aeroplanes and trains and satellites and rockets and medicines, clothes, food, computers, the internet, lights, electricity, cameras, MP3 players, jewellery? What have they ever done? What have scientists ever done for humankind? Well, one thing that they've done, which has been the subject of today, is taken technology like this, the Motorola. Somebody said my other phone, this phone was a brick. I think this is a breeze block. They've taken that and turned it into that in 25 years. That is an Apple iPhone which connects you to the web, the internet, and is probably integrated and welded into your personal life now. And from that to that, the advances in battery technology, electronic circuitry, software, semiconductors, microprocessors, display technology, all of those things have allowed us to go from that to that. Rather interestingly, these two phones do have one thing in common, and that is the battery lasts about 8 hours on both of them. However, that could make phone calls and that can browse the web. So what a change in technology in a very short space of time. So science and engineering really does impact every aspect of our life, and objects that you regard as just everyday objects actually have underneath them significant science and engineering contributions. Is science and engineering suitable for women? Because stereotypically it's seen as a man's world. That's absolute nonsense and rubbish. And hopefully today, if you had any doubt, we'll eliminate that doubt and convince you that science and engineering is indeed as applicable and suitable to girls as it is to boys, as it is to men, as it is to women. Your Dragonfly program that Haifa has put together for you today is trying there to prove this and convince you of that fact. Science and engineering is about giving you the opportunity to be creative. People talk about the creative industries and they mean the television and media. I think that's very bad, because engineering is just as creative as those other areas. You have to have imagination and be creative to solve complex problems, to create new technologies that never existed before. The people who invented that mobile phone 25 years ago were not copying something that already existed. No one had a mobile phone. They were building a new technology from scratch, and look at how it's revolutionized the world. And that's just one piece of technology illustrating that point. I hope that's given you something of a flavor. I will be seeing some of you during the day on one of the exercises, and we've also got some engineers coming in from industry to talk to you as well. So make the most of today, have a really good and exciting time, and the next time you're on the internet, go and have a look at our website, iconicmobiles.com, and find out a little bit more about the mobile phone and its 25-year history, 25 years of science and engineering achievement that we're celebrating this year. So with that, thank you very much. Handing back now to Haifa to tell you what happens next.